There was physically nothing I could do. I had no idea how this was going to turn out, how people were going to receive the news of me having to completely cancel all of these events and they weren't going to get their money back. And as an entrepreneur, what could I have done in that moment? I had to embrace uncertainty. Welcome, crafted entrepreneurs. Today, you're in for a special treat because I'm doing a solo episode. I love talking about challenges with you after I overcome them. So that's what we're going to talk about today, because every entrepreneur faces challenges on their journey to building up a successful business. And there are themes, I think, that every entrepreneur is going to grow through. So we're going to talk about them today, give you some practical tips that you could take away so you can go out there and have more fun on your journey to success. So number one, this is the theme I see with a lot of new business owners that haven't really built out their network yet, okay? And this is limited capital. You're trying to build a business with not a lot of money up front. And if you look at that as a handicap, as something that's going to hold you back, you're really in a bad mindset. Let's just call it what it is. I want you to look at that as actually a leg up. Having very limited capital in your business makes you gritty. It makes you a resourceful person. So instead of looking at it as you are a limited person, you have to go and say, okay, I'm resourceful. So how are all of the ways that I can bring customers into this business without having to spend any money to get them to see what I'm offering? Okay. It also gets you to get a little bit creative when you're trying to bring on a team. You know, you might not be able to pay somebody a big salary, but you might be willing to give up some equity in your business, maybe some profit share in your business. So that way they would be willing to take a lower salary. I don't know, but you got to have that creative mindset. Another financial constraint that happens, and this can happen at really any stage in your business, but cash flow management. You always want to be having healthy projections, at least for the next 12 months out in your business. Do you have 6 months in savings in your business account? So if there was a rainy day in your business, could your business survive all of your staff and everything for the next 6 months? And that's things that, like us entrepreneurs, we're positive thinkers. We don't like to think about the rainy days, but I promise you a rainy day is going to come and you need to be prepared for it. Be prepared for those unexpected expenses and be able to predict revenue. So you know, okay, this is what I can generate month after month after month and expect in my business. Okay. The last thing when it comes to financial constraints for entrepreneurs is maybe you are looking to expand, you're looking to scale, and your business already has a proven model. You know you get people results, you know your product's great, and you're at this spot where you're like, I've already been extremely resourceful and gritty. I've done everything I can do on my own. I'm going to be stuck at this level unless I get more funding because, you know, I need to throw some gasoline on the fire. Most of you don't know how to have those conversations with people who could be private money lenders, investors, or reaching out and finding grants. So this is where your network is so important in the beginning stages and all stages of your business. It's not about how, it's about who. Who do you know that can help you secure funding for a scale in your business? And if you're like, oh my gosh, like I have some revenue coming in, but I'm having some challenges in order to scale, you can reach out to Chase, my husband. He owns My Abundant. They actually give out business loans to people. So if you're a small business that, you know you have some receivables coming in, you just need a cash advance right now, hit up Chase. He'll give you the application where you can apply for a business loan. The second theme I see with entrepreneurs is you have a great idea. You want to help people a ton, But you don't realize that owning a business comes with owning uncertainty. You can project, you can have the greatest made plans in the world, but you still cannot predict the future. And you've got to learn to embrace uncertainty, embrace risk. I think back to the time when COVID happened. That year, I had 18 events planned for my business. I had a lot of money already out to a lot of these vendors, to hotels in Bali. I mean, the money was spent that people had paid me. And then the world shut down. And I still get a little teary-eyed thinking about that because it was devastating to me because I was so excited about that year and all of the fun things we had going on. And there was physically nothing I could do. The virtual summits were not going to cut it for the other things that we really had already had planned. And as an entrepreneur, what could I have done in that moment? I had to embrace uncertainty. I had no idea how this was going to turn out, how people were going to receive the news of me having to completely cancel all of these events and they weren't going to get their money back. And I was going to do my best to create something new for them. And that's exactly what we did. We pivoted. We did different types of retreats that were in person, socially distanced, trying to follow the rules. And also we're trying to be sensitive to everybody's feelings and beliefs at the time, right? But I just embraced it and just said, hey, I'm going to do the best I can in this moment because that's all that I can do. There's not a book that I could have read at the moment to say how to deal with a pandemic and not being able to get your money back from any of these vendors. Okay. So as an entrepreneur, you've got to embrace that fear of failure too. Because in that moment, I could have really let fear succumb me, right? And just think about all of the people that were going to be mad at me and just how sucky that year was. But instead, I just rebuked that fear, okay, of failing and said, hey, what if this turns out actually better than I could even imagine? What if 2020 is the best year ever? And 2020 actually ended up being a really pivotal year for me because I was able to get a life-saving surgery for myself. I had the time and the space to heal, and I came back more of a force, knowing exactly what I wanted to give out in my business and who I wanted to help. And so it's all about what you focus on, right? And if you say, hey, fortune favors the brave, so I'm just going to keep taking one brave step forward, what's going to happen? Not everything is always going to work out. I'm not saying that, but you learn along the way and you gain confidence and you realize that uncertainty is actually going to refine you and help you be a better entrepreneur, okay? Because adversity is always happening. I don't care how much money you make, you're going to have problems and you got to learn how to face them. So third theme I see entrepreneurs struggle with is time management. I talk to people that are extremely successful and people that are just getting started. And some people have just not got it figured out how to manage their time. I would look at myself and say I'm a pretty successful person, but one thing I have not figured out how to do is be on time places, okay? My mom always gets so mad at me still, and I'm in my late 30s and I still have my mom mad at me for being late all the time. So I want you guys to kind of squash that thing of having to be perfect with your time management. You've just got to learn how to get it done. When you say you're going to do something, you've got to do it. So have that non-negotiable with being integrous with your word and stop having a big old theme up here that you have got to have perfect time management because, again, most entrepreneurs I know don't really have great time management. But one thing that has really helped me is scheduling out my days, theming out my days, theming out my months. So that way, when I get into that focus, I'm going to get a ton done. I'm going to be extremely productive. And then when I'm with my kids or I'm with my husband, I can be in that certain role and not have to worry about all the things I didn't get done that day. So I want you to start thinking about that for you. Can you time block or theme your days? The fourth theme I see with entrepreneurs, okay, is everybody's problem. It's a problem I have today. How do I get more customers? If we don't have customers coming in through our door, we don't have a business. Now, the number one way that you can bring customers into your business is by building an attractive brand. And I've had so many guests on the show. We talk about building a brand is about building a feeling for people. What do people experience when they see you, when they see your brand? Your reputation says it all. The colors on your page say it all. The stuff you're saying in your stories gives people a feeling. How do you want people to feel? I know for my brand, I want people to feel empowered. I want them to look at me and say, if that girl can do it, okay, I can do anything. And so what do I have to do? I have to share stories of overcoming adversity. I'm constantly sharing the hero's journey on my page because that's who I attract, is people that have to overcome a lot of adversity, because I overcome adversity on a regular freaking basis. It's not easy for me in business, okay? So build out your brand that people understand who you are and what you're about, okay? And the second thing when it comes to bringing in customers is you've got to have a way to make it easy for people to work with you. So if I come and experience your brand, how can I work with you? You better be telling me in your Instagram bio, in your Facebook bio, constantly be giving me directions on what I should do next to experience more of you. You cannot expect potential customers to just figure it out and want to stalk your page and want to go on a deep dive about who you are. Now, of course, we love those people that do that. You make them work really hard for it. You know, there's our lifers over there. But what you should be doing is saying in your bio, hey, this is what I want you to do next. For instance, I'm having a free live event right now. It's called Idea to Profit. And in my bio, I say, come to my free event. And I have an emoji sticking down because I want everybody to click that link. Because first of all, I want you to see what I have going on. I want you to opt in. But if you don't opt in, I want to pick up your Facebook pixel so that way I can retarget you via ads, okay? So I want to make sure that I'm owning the traffic that's coming my way. And one way I do that is through having a pixel on there, okay? So that's one thing around the customer acquisition, is making sure that people know how to get in touch with you. And the third thing when it comes to bringing in more customers is you've got to have a marketing strategy. If you're kind of still in that moment of just posting and praying that people will come your way, you're not being an intentional business owner. Marketing is sharing with people and educating people about their need for you. So how often are you sharing the need? Are you teaching people about the problem that they have? If you're not ever talking about people's problems, they don't think you understand them. They don't think you're the person that can help them. So you've got to constantly be engaging around the need. Every single day, you've got to be talking about it, at least on your stories, or using a reel that's showing, hey, I'm the authority over this problem and I can help you. Okay. So that's one thing to start thinking about, is evergreen strategies to constantly be talking about the problem. Okay. Not just stories that only live for 24 hours. Now, the last struggle I see entrepreneurs face is innovation. If you are not able to innovate your products, you will slowly die. Okay, because there's always an up and comer around the corner that has this new and unique edge to what it is in your industry. And you want to be that person that's on the cutting edge. And how do you become that person that's always bringing something new to the table? Well, you got to get educated. So I'm going to give you an example. If you're a coach listening in, or you're watching this on YouTube right now, let me know in the comments below. But what are you doing to get better at your craft? How are you learning about the psychology of people and the psychology of change? What are you doing to invest in your resume, really? So you have all of these certificates and all of this knowledge and all of these people that you've learned from, so you could take everything that you've learned, all the experience that you've had, and create new techniques for people to create rapid change in their lives. You want to always be forward focused. What worked yesterday isn't going to work in 2024. So how are you going to innovate maybe a product you already have that gives people great results, but how can they get even better results next year? What are you going to add to your irresistible offer to make sure people cannot walk away from you without working with you? Okay, so make sure you're spending time to get educated so then you can innovate. So we rapid fired through some challenges that entrepreneurs face today. And I really want to understand which one resonated with you the most. Make sure to DM me on Instagram and tell me maybe one of the ones that you're kind of struggling with right now that you want me to flesh out a little bit more on the podcast or on YouTube. But the main thing I want you to take away with right now is you're not alone. Okay. Every entrepreneur is facing problems on a daily basis, but you become successful the more problems you can just look in the freaking eye and say, I got it. I can handle this. With God on my side, I can do all things through him. And you know that every problem that you face in your business is just a stepping stone towards your success, towards your dream life, towards your destiny. So I like to look at challenges and just say, try me, because I have learned over the years that those challenges have made me a better entrepreneur. They make me more valuable in the marketplace because I've gone through so much stuff. When I get a client now, I'm like, been there, done that. Here's what you need to do. And I can save them so much time and heartache. So I want you to really be future focused on all the problems that you're facing today. Realize how it's going to make you so much more money later on. So thanks for listening in.